You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Coming to you live from the premiere of Season 1, Episode 1 of Rick and Morty the Anime. We caught some special screeners for this new spin on a timeless classic, and we're stoked to bring it to you here for the first time in September with me and Travis on Interdimensional IRSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty the Anime podcast. Woo!
Hi everybody. I'm Travis.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon, and we are stoked to talk to you about the premiere episode of Rick and Morty, the anime. I'm certain no one is gonna cancel off of this when they start listening to it and say, "Oh shit, I got the wrong episode." Nope, you're on the right episode because we're talking about Season 1, Episode 1 of Rick and Morty.
It's weird because I feel like our perceptions of the timeline have been altered, Brandon. Your sense of reality is different than mine.
Well, I see a little bit of everything, Travis. You know, if you can carve time forward, we can carve time backwards.
I know that's right, which is why I'm going to go back to our social media and delete some of those tweets. From some of the spots I'm going to be deleting is from X at Rick and Morty Pod, of course on Facebook, facebook.com/Rick and Morty Podcast. On Instagram, we are Rick and Morty Podcast, and you can send us emails at rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on the subreddits, rickandmorty.reddit.com or rickandmortypodcast.reddit.com. And then you can find video versions of the podcast over at youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm. We also have bonus post shows, things like that for the wonderful people at our Patreon. That's patreon.com/apathetic enthusiasm. This is okay. Like, not to break the bit too much, but for people that are desperately concerned if they downloaded the wrong episode, we are talking about episode 7 today.
Season 7.
Season
episode
7. We've jumped into the future. 7
Damn
seasons into the anime.
We overcorrected. We're too far into the future now. Travis, how are things going with you on this Sunday?
Just awful. I'm having a terrible weekend. I'm stressed and emotional and excited to record this podcast. This is probably the highlight of my weekend. Actually.
That's fantastic. Well, as long as you didn't get in a car accident and have your car wrecked for a couple weeks right before your business trip, as long as that didn't happen, you're probably fine.
We're probably fine. So long. I mean, that would be bad, but it wouldn't be as bad as it happening on the way to get my kid their driver's license.
Oh, shoot.
In that car, literally 1 block from the testing center. It was the last intersection before we were turning into the testing center and having somebody run a red light and hit us as we're going through the intersection.
But good thing that didn't happen. And
that would be bad.
It's especially good that
the reality of
there wasn't a hailstorm recently, which totaled a bunch of cars, and then there were no rental cars available.
0 rental cars in the entire metropolitan area. That would really make it worse.
Welcome to the show, Travis.
I'm glad I could attempt to push all of that out of my head as we start this episode, only to have it flooding right back. So with that in mind, let's start talking about Rick and Morty with a segment we like to call Semi-Pertinent News.
Dong, dong, dong. Semi-pertinent news. Dong, dong, dong. There we go. Simplicity is next to godliness, I think.
Straightforward. We do have some semi-pertinent news, some things to talk about. First thing that I want to talk about really is asking Brandon about his thoughts, because a couple of weeks ago we talked a little bit about the press release for Uzumaki, which is a new anime on Adult Swim in more of a horror genre. And you sent me a message this week being like, "Hey, I'm really digging this. This is awesome." And I was like, "Whoa, I didn't even think to watch it. I didn't even like I'll read a press release all day about it, but seems a little creepy.
Seems right up your alley, Travis.
Does it? You tell me. What did you think about the show?
Let me tell you a little bit about Uzumaki. You told me that I think we saw it over at Comic-Con, the
Right.
preview for it. I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then we talked about the press release and the premiere date, and I kind of forgotten about it. I'd seen like the image of it with like the girl with a spiral gap in her eye,
Yeah.
and like so this morning watching the episode that we're going to cover a little bit later, right after that I saw, oh, Uzumaki is on there. I'm awake. I'm awake at 6 in the morning
I'm
watching
breathing.
adult animation. Let me check it out. And I gotta say, for a horror fan such as I, and a horror fan not such as you, I like it. What I like about it is it's black and white. It's all black and white. You It's all about this town where there's like a spiral curse that's happening.
Yeah.
The main character is a young lady. It's all told through her perspective, and the art style is kind of pencil drawn. It looks really really cool, and then you see spirals like throughout the world, like hidden on like walls and stuff like that in designs. It's very very interesting, and creepy as all get out. So I love it. I've only watched the one episode. I think there's only one episode out, and I think I'm gonna keep watching it. I think I'm gonna keep
All right.
watching it. Maybe I'll go right now.
Okay,
Maybe I'll
that's
watch
our
it
show,
again.
everybody. He's gonna go watch an episode that has not been released yet. Uh,
Adult Swim, give me some screeners.
hook it up. Hook it up. Yeah. All right.
But
Well,
that's it.
well, cool. I'm glad you like it. I might give it a shot. I might check it out. We'll
You
see.
should just check it out.
Maybe I'll just check it out.
What's the worst that could happen?
It's not like I'm losing enough sleep as is. I could I could give it a shot. All right. If you're into any of the types of things that Brandon just described, yeah, go check it out. It's on Max, right? If they don't have
Yeah.
Adult Swim proper, you can check it out on Max as well. So, all right, Uzumaki done. Next, this is a very interesting, exciting story that I'm kind of bummed I don't think I'm gonna have the opportunity to check out for myself. But this is the Rick and Morty Multiverse Mania experience, which sounds like a mouthful. But it is described as.
But just if it sounds like a mouthful now, but wait till you hear Travis read the press release.
Read the entire press release verbatim. The Rick and Morty Multiverse Mania experience is a 25,000 square foot adventure full of some of Adult Swim's series' most iconic moments, alongside activities, photo ops, custom merchandise, themed food and drinks, and more. Guests can explore Rick's lab space cruiser. Is there a I think there's a comma missing.
Yeah. Rick's Lab,
Rick's Lab,
Cruiser.
Space Cruiser, and Portal Travel, alongside epic interactive experiences, exhibits, and gamified attractions. Take a seat on Rick's legendary toilet, sharpen your mini golf skills with Mr. Meeseeks, and gear up for the ultimate SEAL Team Rick laser tag. The multiverse wouldn't be complete without a themed bar, customized with interdimensional food and beverages. Guests can also scoop exclusive merchandise only available at the experience, play great games, grab a drink, win prizes, and maybe fill out Morty's adventure card while you're at it. There's a website, rickandmortyexperience.com/Chicago to buy tickets, $28 a person. If that URL is any clue to the savvy listener, this Rick and Morty fan experience is happening in Chicago. It's happening in December 2024. It sounds freaking sweet, man. I don't know. What do you think?
Kind of boring.
Yeah, you're not into it. Not into it.
We've seen it. We've seen it all before.
It's all been.
If you've been to
done
if you've been to the Hulu fan experience, you've experienced greatness.
yeah.
It's cool. So the Meeseeks golf, we've played Meeseeks golf. I think we've got that covered. I think
We've played like one hole of Rick and Morty. I guess were there two holes of Rick and Morty golf?
Yeah, something like. Well, if it's a whole golf course, cool. I'm down. I'm down. Like 18 holes, tee times, the whole thing, golf carts. But the golf carts are
yeah.
the golf carts
Ooh-wee, he's
are
trying.
spaceships. but I will say the SEAL Team Rick laser tag that could be probably pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I like me some laser tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to the website, some of the additional information that's not in the press release, the date says December 2024. So I don't know if that's all month. I don't know what dates in that month or if they haven't been specified yet. It's open Wednesday to Sunday. So, Monday, Tuesday, don't, plan accordingly. Operating hours may vary. Duration, it says visitors spend 45 to 60 minutes, but explore at your own pace. So it looks like you get about an hour's worth of fun or so. It's at the Morgan Arts Complex in Chicago. Open to all ages, but guests 14 and under must be accompanied by an adult. You talk about some of the things we've already done, like the mini golf. That's been out at San Diego Comic-Con and the Adult Swim Fest. Some of these photo ops, I'm curious. Like the first thing when I was reading this is I was wondering, is some of the stuff from the alternate reality game where with the golden Rick heads, like, is some of that stuff going to end up in here or something, like some of those props or things?
I wonder, like the legendary toilet.
Yeah.
I do wonder that. But I have my fingers crossed that the company that's putting it on, I think what is it? It is Fever. Fever is this they put on fan experiences. You can go to like fever.com and check out the things they do. I'm hoping that this is beyond that, the simple like pulling in props from other things.
Yeah.
And so, I'm hopeful like we're not going to be able to go. So somebody is going to have to go up to Chicago for us and do a little bit of fan exploration for that fan experience and give us the 411, the deets, the details.
Details. Other things that I have no evidence of or reason to believe are true. Chicago is fairly centrally located in the United States. It's a major city that isn't New York. It's not LA. And this is a month's worth of stuff. But maybe, hopefully, if this is successful in Chicago, this is something that may move to other cities and may be able to have other fans check out over a period of time.
Well, Travis, it does say the website is rickandmortyexperience.com/Chicago. Why would they have to in the URL point out Chicago?
Exactly.
Unless there's some other cities that are being planned. And I've got a fork in my hand that just to kind of emphasize that point. If you want to go check it out, it's $28 a person. I don't know. I think we might have said that already. I think there's like AARP discounts too. Go check it out. I think it'll be fun, but we're not gonna
I'm literally just typing different cities into the URL.
Oh, okay.
To see if there are
just the hard hitting.
It just goes back to Chicago every time. This investigative journalism will have to wait. All right. Yeah. So if you're in the Chicago area or within driving distance this December, go check out the Rick and Morty Multiverse Mania experience. Link and all the information is in the show notes. All right, Brandon, time for the last segment in semi-pertinent news. It is the Reddit post of the week.
Yeah, Mark, is the user for this Reddit post of the week with their post titled, "Was there anything actually wrong with Healthy Morty?" And it's got 6.5 thousand upvotes, over 1 million views, but only 6.5 thousand upvotes. I mean, if 1 million people are going to look at it, but only 6.5 thousand upvotes, it's kind of, it feels like the bad ratio. But, still, it was the top post of the week, so I got to hand it to you. Yeah, Mark, yeah. But no, I don't think there was anything actually wrong with Healthy Morty. Oh, what do you think, Travis? And Healthy Morty, when we're talking about like the toxic, when they Rick and Morty, they go to the spa, they get all the toxins out of them, and then there's Healthy Morty.
So is he ever referred to as Healthy Morty in like any other Like,
No, I think this might be the first time we've called him Healthy Morty.
he gives off like weird like Wolf of Wall Street vibes there for a period, and he like like at when he's going out with Jessica, and he's just like very like uber charismatic, but also like kind of not really engaged in what's going on. He has no like what's the word I'm looking for, where he's like self-deprecation or like no
Yeah.
I don't know, like modesty.
Empathy.
I
Yeah.
guess I don't know, like
Narcissism.
he's very narcissistic. Yes, that's I think the term I would use. And I think there's something to be said about the fact that as soon as Rick gives him an out with all the little Transformer GoBot things, he immediately jumps at the chance, right? Like, and I think it's because there is something artificial, something that is superficial about this version of Morty. It is not genuine. It is not who he really is. And our faults are part of who we are. It's part of what makes us, the people that we are. So, not while there isn't anything technically wrong with him, he is lacking, modesty and
That's
humility.
That's all the question was, Travis. It wasn't, hey, explore the deepest, philosophical aspects of this. Just, was there anything actually wrong?
So we got time to fill, Brandon. We got time to fill in these episodes, all right?
Yeah, we're gonna make semi-pertinent news 30 minutes this time instead of the 28 it was last week. Anyways, thanks, Mark. Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the Redditors out there posting their content and responding to my season 1 episode 7 discussion post, which I completely forgot to put on there. So people are just having conversations in the episode 6 one. It's fine.
This is fine.
All right.
Nobody noticed. All right. That's it for semi-pertinent news for this week. If you see a semi-pertinent news story from Adult Swim or Rick and Morty or anything else semi-pertinent, feel free to send that to us at all the social media links we mentioned before. All right. When we come back, we will get into the meat of this 7th season episode. So stick around and we will be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for listening to those advertisements. It is now time to get into the meat of the episode. If you're a vegetarian, it's okay. It's what do they call it? Impossible meat. It's impossible meat. All right, it's time for the main thing. I have a song in my head,
and you ruined it. Ruined that.
It's time for the main thing.
Ringle, dingle, 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 dingle. Ringle, dingle, 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 dingle. It's the main thing. That's the one I have to go to. Ringle, dingle, dingle,
dingle, dingle, dingle, dingle.
Yeah, can you roll your R's? Are you a
no, I can't.
Ringle, dingle,
ringle, dingle, ringle, dingle. No, I can't.
All right, our dreams. It's the episode 7 of Rick and Morty, the anime. It aired the 26th of September, written and directed by Takashi Sano, of course. Our Bronopsis, this one provided by Travis, the one and only.
I think there's other Travises.
Oh, but... yeah, no, that's true. I think L might be Wolverine, bruh.
With the other synopsis, it's finally time to rewind time.
It took me an extra beat to be like, what the fuck? Where is he going with that?
She's just schnickety schnow, like
snick
going to town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is an interesting episode. It's again an episode that I think benefits off of the rest of the season. It does not stand on its own. It really relies on the rest of the content, which, as I've been told, is sort of how anime works. So I should stop thinking about episodic episodes. But this to me feels like a very important episode. that gets really at the core of a lot of the ideas and concepts from the series, and it spends a lot of time with Rick and Elle, and tackles those ideas of free will versus destiny. I don't know. What were your thoughts after watching this episode?
Yeah, no, you said it.
Okay.
Those
Everybody, thanks for listening.
those are them. I had this thought, Travis, and this thought is it just jumped out to me. There's this movie, and we've talked about it before. We've talked about this movie before.
Pee-wee's
Talk about
Big
time.
Adventure.
We Bigsby's adventure, time crimes, and it's a wonderful time travel movie, but it's basically all about. There's like 3 different loops that happen in this film throughout the course of the film, and essentially it's the same spoiler. It's the same guy, but he's like setting things up to make sure that he can close the time loop. And again, it's similar to Donnie Darko. The whole thing with Elle is she sees everything that is gonna happen, but at the same time, she's not influenced. She doesn't want to influence them to do one thing or the other. She's like, you have free will. You're gonna do this, and then if you don't do it, then that happened too. I guess.
Yeah.
So still, maybe still a little confusing, but confused in that way. But the long-haired Rick that we have seen throughout the series so far features predominantly in this episode with kind of the backstory of what's going on with Elle, alien Elle.
Yeah. You say alien Elle. As I was watching this episode, I was trying to figure out what is the difference between alien Elle and human Elle. Are they the same Elle? If so, how did that happen? Or are they different? Are they different dimensions of Elle? Like, have you figured out the differences between alien and human Elle?
No, I haven't. But the only hint that I have is when long-haired Rick is infiltrating the Citadel, and then he's an alien.
Yeah.
Or what was it? What is it? The scene where he like turns himself into an alien, like sprays himself as an alien, and then later he's sitting with Elle and he takes the pills, and then he turns back into Rick. If there's a reverse of that, then maybe alien Elle takes the pills, and then it turns into human. I don't know. That's it.
It could be simple as that. Well put. And maybe we'll see that in one of the next couple episodes.
Or you're wrong, Brandon. You could say that. I'm okay with being wrong. I don't have to be.
I think you're right. I think you have spoilers I'm not aware of. You've been on the wikis, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry, Adult Swim. Appreciate the spoiler press release.
Why do you guys keep sending the spoilers straight to Brandon? We have a shared email account. What's going on here? All right. So one of the things that really kind of got to me while watching this episode was sort of this idea of free will versus destiny. Elle always knowing Morty was going to die, knowing how Morty was going to die, but essentially not necessarily preventing it in any way, and arguably like going ahead to make sure that it happens. This happens in a scene where it's all build up, right? We see Space Beth, she gets captured. She's by the Federation. She's in a Federation prison type situation where they're all hanging on the walls. And Rick leaves Morty behind to protect him and go try to rescue Space Beth, right? He's got the trick spaceship, which is an interesting kind of spin, but he leaves him behind.
Yeah.
And
that part made me laugh.
that was one of my favorite bits. But as Morty's all frustrated by that, some thug like henchman comes up and is like, "Hey, we're all gonna try and go anyway. We want to like be part of the action." And Morty is at that point is like, "No, we shouldn't go. We shouldn't. It's not safe or whatever." And Elle comes out and actually convinces him to go, saying that she will go with him, that she will be there with him. And it's interesting because it's the first time where I think so far in the course of the show where I've thought Elle knows what's going to happen on this ship. Elle knows the fate of Morty. She lives with it every second or whatever, right? But she could have just been like, well, Morty doesn't want to go, so all right, that's his choice, that's his free will. And then she kind of convinces him, I'll be with you to go on that. I don't know what do you make of that?
Well, if we look at the Marvel films,
it reminds me of a movie, Time Crimes.
There in the Marvel universe, right? There's these worlds that are like they're pivot points, and I don't know.
It's called a canon event.
A canon event, an incursion. If there are too many things going on. I don't know. It is interesting that she, for Rick. Here's the difference, right? That's the difference is what's throwing me off. Is with Rick, she is very, do what you're gonna do. I can't. You're gonna do one thing or the other. You're gonna do multiple things. I don't know what you're gonna do. I'm uncertain about this. Whatever you're gonna do is what you're gonna do. With Morty, she's like, I know what you said, but let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Don't worry. I'll be with you. Schnickety schnow. I don't know.
Another beat. There's still another beat where I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, right. It's the snicket, right?
Yeah. Because she's Wolverine. She has a lot of conversations with Rick where she says things like, I'm aware of what you do after this. However, those actions are for you to decide. There's a lot of quotes from Elle based on her not being in control of destiny, just aware of what the future holds. And part of me wonders, is she a passive or a, like, is she not able to have free will? She's almost like required to carry out whatever actions will get to the future that she remembers? Or is she like the universe's greatest gaslighter / manipulator and knows that if she tells Rick to do anything, he's going to be like, no, that's a dumb idea. I make my own choices. So she has to like manipulate him by being like, well, I know what you're going to do, but I can't make the choice for you. But if you thought about turning me into antimatter and blowing up the universe, I'm not telling you to do it, but had you considered that before?
Yeah. I was playing this weekend. We went to my parents and my kid, my 12-year-old. We played aggravation. And for those who don't know what aggravation is, it's kind of like trouble with a pop-o-matic bubble. And you have your pieces at your home base. You get them out. You go around the whole board and you try to get them safe, right? But if somebody lands on your piece, then you have to go back to home. Well, we were playing, my dad, my mom, and my kid and I, and the kid he rolled the die, and he's like, oh, should I go this way or should I go that way? And at the time, my dad was winning. I'm like, look, you can go that way, but he's winning here. And my dad's like, well, yeah, you do that, but then you're not any closer to your spot, which is where you need to go to win. I'm like, but he has more pieces out already. And so it was just this back and forth of like, I mean, it's your decision.
I'm not telling you which way to go.
I'm just telling you to consider all the factors here. The main factor being your grandpa's going to win. And he didn't listen to me. And
Grandpa won. Yeah,
he did it. My dad lost all three.
Well, there you go. Regular manipulative L. Um, I don't know. It's interesting. There's some, upon multiple watchings of the episode, I don't know, this inevitability of Rick's crossing paths, setting off sort of this chain of events that happen over the course of this episode. I don't know. It's just really interesting to me. I don't know if these questions are going to be answered by the end of the season in terms of like, does Elle have the ability to make choices, or will she not share certain information because she knows it will impact the choices of others, that choices that will lead to the courses of events that she's aware of? Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. The other thought I had that came up right now, Travis, is if we're thinking about her as a time being, sees the past, sees the future, but what if she's also basically an interdimensional cable box? She also sees different realities too.
Yeah.
And so the all the branching paths from that moment on, they kind of go right, like tree, the branches and the trunk and all that stuff, the leaves, they're going all different directions. But at the same time, underneath the ground, there's all these roots that are going right. They all go to that one point in time, and then they go up and then they spread out. Maybe that's what she is in that moment in time. She is in the present, and then from that point in time, whatever decision gets made around her, whatever changes in the soil or the seasons, or there's rain or there's a drought, then that's what changes the future. Maybe that's what we're looking at with Elle.
Maybe. And maybe she's just entropy personified. Who knows? I had to Google the definition of entropy. I didn't know what entropy was. They talked about it in this episode, and I was like, I don't think I actually know the definition of this word.
Well, tell us, Travis. What is entropy?
I still didn't know after I looked it up. It's something to do with like thermodynamics or something, and it's basically like the state of chaos that in the absence of time or something. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't remember. I didn't write it down.
Isn't it like when you don't care about something, and then, or like you have enthusiasm? It's like entropy enthusiasm.
That's apathetic enthusiasm. Broadly speaking, entropy is the degree of disorder or uncertainty in a system. The degradation of the matter and energy in the universe to an ultimate state of inert uniformity. Yeah, it's basically the measure of disorder in a system and the amount of energy that is unavailable to do work. So
she is energy that is unavailable to do work. She's just there.
She's there, and Rick can turn her into a time bomb. He needs about the space of a bathtub to do it. Other moments from this episode that kind of stuck out to me, the reverse time lapsing after he sets off the bomb. They really took a lot of time to go through all these different examples and ideas of time working in reverse, and different. Some of them were silly or funny situations where the hot dog is being uneaten and given back to the vendor, things like that. But and then like reverse evolution all the way to the creation of the planet, and then it's splitting and all these things.
Reverse sexual harassment.
Sure. Yeah, obviously. But by the end of the episode, the thing I think I really felt was that I really am going to need to rewatch this whole series again, because I'm still kind of confused about what's happening. And I think the reason for that is as more things are being shown in these later episodes, it's tying back to things that happened in other episodes or other parts. And I think, much like sort of how time is jumping around in the show, certain scenes that were very confusing at the beginning of the show will make a lot more sense with the perspective of these later episodes. And so I think I need to rewatch all of it in its entirety, or go back and rewatch some of those scenes, because I do think that there's some important information in those that at the time may have felt less important, and now would maybe have a lot more meaning. I don't know. Just
Yeah, I think that's fair. What this one thing this episode did was flashback to a scene, an earlier. Well, it did it twice. That one was not as important. It's the flashback to when Space Beth is going into the bar, looking for help to breach the Federation. The second one was in black and white, and this one is where Rick remembers, long-haired Rick remembers that he took a device from the thing when Space Morty was fighting. I forget what that little thing was called, but it was one of the key things for creating L into a bomb. And so, that scene was what, episode 3 maybe?
yeah, I
Episode
think
3,
so.
maybe
3.
4. When we still didn't know what the hell was going on. Not that we know right now what's going on. We have a better idea, but definitely didn't know anything back then. And so this is a little bit of explanation. There's a little bit of like
It's
not hand feeding necessarily, but like putting those pieces together in just a direct way. They're like, this is what he's talking about. You don't have to rewatch the series. Here's a flashback for that particular part.
there's more context. There's more sort of links between certain things, so that it does. And obviously, like we're coming up. There's only 3 episodes left for the season. So yeah, there's I would hope there's some sort of resolution we're building towards, or some sort of I don't know, ultimate answer to the questions that we've been, or it'll be like Lost and they just won't answer any of the questions, and we'll
Hurley bird.
hurly bird.
What the other thing is, we see Space Beth breaking into the Citadel, right? All that stuff. Talking about the flashback, this is part of the show. This is part of the show that's hard, is because it is all over the place. So we're like, it's also a little bit of like, did I get COVID and do I have brain fog right now that I don't remember what I'm talking about? But last week they broke into, not the Citadel, but the Federation, and then we saw Tammy, and we also saw Elle, and she was training to fight, and
Yeah.
then Elle shot people, and then they all escaped with Bird Person. There was that whole thing, and I don't remember which Elle it was. Was that human?
Was
Elle?
it human L? Was it alien L?
I can't quite
and
recall.
didn't
Brain
they
frog.
escape? So why is she back in jail now? Because I thought they escaped. And now
Right.
she's in jail with Bird Person.
Yeah, but then they escape.
We really sound like a couple of professional Rick and Morty podcasters right now.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and that's where I which kind of started this whole conversation. I need to watch it all together. I think that will help kind of connect those gaps between the weeks where I'm like, did that happen? Did I dream that? How did that thing work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is really how it is. It's a whole lot of where am I? Where am I? Did I make dinner last night? What am I going to Chicago tomorrow for the fan experience? I don't even remember.
You shouldn't be. It's in December.
Oh, well,
check
time.
the URL Rick and Morty experiences /Chicago. All right, let's talk about some of the favorite bits. You mentioned Rick's ship splitting being one of the things you really liked about the episode. Anything else that stood out to you in the episode?
Yeah, I really liked the reverse time lapse.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that bit. I was a fan of the reveal that L is the time bomb.
Yeah, that was pretty huge. Yeah.
What I was trying to think of, and I'm sure you had this feeling that time or L, she experiences backwards and forwards. She experiences time. There was some indication that her power or something, and I think maybe we commented on it a couple weeks back, that her power was what long-haired Rick used for his bomb. Turns out it was. So that was cool. And that whole animation, that sequence was kind of nifty. Even though it wasn't a huge reveal, because I mean we knew it was going to happen, right? We knew.
Yeah, but I think it gave some.
You and I both knew.
Yeah, we had predicted that from the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, a few things stood out to me. Sort of like Morty's funeral scene. I thought just the way that was drawn, the way it was animated, was interesting. I thought it was a nicely done scene. Just that idea that Elle talks about the if a path to the future can be carved out, the same is true for the past. Just the way that she perceives time so differently. Our idea of having goals and pursuing a path towards a desired future, she sees a path to the past in sort of the same way. I find that interesting. Yeah, you just blow it up, start it over.
Yeah, just like a Fight Club, which we watched the other day.
Yeah.
Again.
I didn't watch it, but I would love to watch it. It's a great movie.
It's great. It's
so
great.
good.
You met me at a weird time in my life. Another favorite bit of mine is the those Gronflamites, the Gronflamite payoff.
Big payoff, right? We look back. I think it's to the first episode where we see these two Gronflamites kind of starting, not bickering, but just like, why are we always at your place? Why can't you go to my place? Or like, and they always seem like background characters until this episode.
Until this episode, the big reveal being one of the Gronflamites is they're trying to kill Morty. They're trying to capture Space Morty to set themselves apart, because everyone laughs at them. Everyone looks at them, looks down on those two guys. And
they're gonna get a big reward. They're gonna be able to move out.
And then then old Wolverine L comes out, kills one of them. The other Gronflamite is sad. Oh wait, no. Rick kills her.
Yes, and so this is the thing that I find really kind of emotional about, like, these background characters that we've kind of just been like a punching bag or a laughing stock for 6 episodes, and then finally it's their moment to kill Space Morty and claim their reward and get their life that they've always desired. And Rick just like shoots one of them and is like, "Don't get killed by these nobodies, Morty," and just talks about them like they're not important. And the other Gronflamite in that relationship is so emotionally like devastated and distraught by losing this person that they love, I assume, that they stand up, point their laser at Morty and kill a kid. And it's kind of an emotional sequence when you're watching it. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty strong one of the best scenes. And then of course Wolverine jumps out of a portal and kills him. Yeah, but yeah.
One of the things here is, and I didn't know this because I watched the sub version. I guess Morty says in the dub or in the sub, Morty says, "I love you." Does he say thank you in the dub?
I was watching the dubbed version, and he says, I think he vocally says, "I love you," but the subtitle says thank you, or it's vice versa. But the words he says are different from the words on the screen. And I looked at that, I was like, that seems weird. And I think it very much might change your perception of that scene based on the version that you saw. I don't know. I just found that as interesting. I don't. Yeah.
That's weird. It's weird.
I
don't know. We know that the subtitles have been kind of off on that version since the start. So
And my assumption on this, just really quickly, is I think sometimes the sub version is different. The dialogue is different. One, to kind of Americanize the dialogue a little bit more, give it more pop or edge, depending on, the context of what's being said.
Yeah.
But also,
we don't say "I love you" to people in America.
No, not America. And sometimes I think Japanese vocabulary is either much longer or shorter to express the same sentiment. And so sometimes they have to say things differently or alter what they say so that it kind of matches the animation a little bit better. And so sometimes it's as simple as that. Other times it might be an actual choice from a director or somebody be like, all right, let's change the verbiage a little bit here to kind of increase or decrease what's being said.
And I wonder how often in other anime the subtitles are off, like that. Shoot us a note, Rick and Morty.
Let us know. Send us a comment. Put it in the comments.
The last thing is L saying, "I've been experiencing this moment for all eternity." That's one of your best parts, or that's one of your worst parts, Travis?
I don't know. I just found it really interesting.
So it's neither.
Rick dealing with his grief from losing Morty, and her saying, "I've been experiencing this moment for all eternity." It's just really powerful. Like the idea that like you are just dealing with this awful thing all the time. I don't know. I thought it was good in the worst way possible.
We have a segment called Best and Worst Parts, and like, I don't know, I just liked it.
I just liked it. Favorite bits. It should have been favorite bits. All right.
Best and worst, and also,
I don't know. It's the best.
It's not like we should include it.
They're not perfect show notes, Brandon. I'm sorry. It was different in the dubbed version.
Yeah, in the dub version, it's like, wow, I love this. I love this line. Yeah. So we got a couple episodes left of this season of the series. I don't know if there'll be another season of this show. I'm interested to see now that we're next week is the penultimate episode. What? No,
next week will be 8. Three more.
I'm interested to see how they wrap it up. How they wrap up some of the other loose threads from the first half of the season. And if they continue this path where they have more of a, let's say, traditional storytelling, closer to traditional storytelling than just like scene after scene after scene, I'm interested to see how it ends. Does it end definitively? Does it end leading into season the new season of the main show? What happens there? So really interested to see what's going to.
I have a throwaway theory, and it has to do with the scene where Rick is prepping Elle to be turned into a time bomb, and he basically talks about, have we just been doing this over and over again? Is this like inevitable? And I meant to capture the line, but she basically talks about inevitability isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just something about leading to the same result or something. But I wonder if we won't necessarily get resolution in this, but we will get a series of events that leads to the beginning of this series. And if this was on order for one season, or this was something that was just like, hey, we want you to do 10 episodes, Takashi Sano, go ham, figure out what you want to do. And he decided to make something that was self-contained and looped internally, right? Like you get to this 10th episode, and the events of the 10th episode lead us to the events of the first episode or something.
Yeah.
I think that could be really interesting.
At the start of this episode, you see long-haired Rick put the time bomb in C-137's garage.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, you see long-haired Rick blow up the time bomb, and then the time lapse backwards. So there are still things that are unanswered, obviously, that I'm assuming we're going to get some kind of clarification. And all of these again, the roots and the branches, they're going to make sense. I have faith. I'm not a faithful I'm not a I'm not a faith-filled man, but I've got it right now. I got it right now, Travis.
I'm happy for you.
I've got right in my heart. What is that song?
Anyway, listeners'
Got
suggestions.
high hopes in my heart.
Yep, that's the classic Bible song. I got high hopes in my heart.
I love that. I love that song. When I go to Bible school.
You got any listener suggestions or short outs for us before we get out of here?
I don't actually. If you want to talk for a minute, I'll text Jeff and say
that's not necessary.
Jeff.
Jeff, quick! What did you think of the episode?
Oh, actually, I do have something from Jeff. Just stand by 1 second. I gotta open up my phone, my Face ID. Let's see. Here's what Jeff said. Let's see. Are you dressing fancy this week? No, that's different.
That's probably not related to.
No, I think you said something like, I'm gonna wear my Super Spider-Man polo on Wednesday. You know what? Maybe it doesn't matter. Oh no. He said, when are you recording? Sunday? And I said, yeah. And he says, I'm out all day tomorrow, so it's either tonight after we get home from poker or Sunday. And I said, to watch the episode? ? And today at 10:23, he said, yeah. And then asked me if I'm dressing fancy. So shout out to Jeff for not giving me anything to work with, but still going through all of our texts.
Perfect.
So.
That's listener suggestions and short outs. That's gonna do it for this week's episode. I'm gonna
conclusion.
I'm gonna give a short out to our YouTube viewers because for some reason, the Jerry episode from September 16th, posted on our YouTube, is outperforming all of the other YouTube videos for this series by like threefold. And I don't know why. Maybe people just love a Jerry episode. I've always said that.
You have.
But shout out to anybody that's checking us out over at youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, leave a comment and we will talk about it in next week's short outs. And until then, that's it for this episode.
That's it.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon, of course. Thank you all for your support in this and sticking with us through thick and thin. Rick and Morty, the anime.
All right, bye, everybody.